Slice Podcast. Captain Drew, Dive Master, JB, lights, camera, action. Let's roll.
We're officially starting the interview now with the lavalier mic attached to the dreadlock.
To the dreadlock.
Hanging in front of my face by my mouth.
You cannot make this stuff
My
up.
name is Jimmy Tebeau, musical outlaw, ex-con, producer, event manager, venue manager. I don't know, I wear a few hats. Marketing guy, I do a lot of marketing. But the big thing I love to do is to play music and sing, and I've got a band called the Schwag, and we've been playing Grateful Dead music for 36 years and have played over 4,000 concerts in our time so far.
My, you said 4,000 concerts?
Over 4,000, yeah. And then for 4 years, I was also a full-time member of JGB, Jerry Garcia Band, which features Melvin Seals, who played with keyboards with Jerry Garcia for 15 years, the last 15 years. And I helped drive that musical ship for 4 years while still being in the Schwag. That was about 75 shows a year.
Cool.
But my record is 211 shows in 1 year, just playing with a variety of bands. I'm kind of a jamaholic. At one point, I was in 4 different bands. Earlier on, when I graduated college and moved to downtown St. Louis, I was just playing with anybody and everybody to play out 3 or 4. There's music every night of the week in St. Louis, in a big cosmopolitan area like that. So I was getting in a number of jam sessions and a number of bands. I was playing even percussion with a couple of the bigger original acts in town for some of their bigger shows, just to add more flavor to the extravaganza. And then ultimately just started throwing big festivals in Missouri, showcasing my band, the Schwag. But that's my passion, is playing music. But I think what's bringing us together is you're here out at the campground for a Schwagstock event.
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, how many instruments do you play? I got to ask.
Well, I guess my main instrument is a bass guitar, and then I sing. And I memorize lyrics for hundreds of songs, and I guess I'm a musical director. But as far as instruments, I also play acoustic guitar, which I can strum and play a 3-hour solo acoustic show. But as far as instruments, I jump on stage and play. I could do like congas and timbales and cowbell and percussion. I was in a percussion ensemble in college, and I've been in drum circles and that. But the instrument I'm most proficient is bass guitar. I play bass guitar and sing. Not a lot of bass players sing and play bass. Sting and the Police and Geddy Lee of Rush are good examples of singing bass players.
Right.
But I'm the lead vocalist in the Schwag and have the most songs memorized, and I know the chord changes, because I wanted to become a master of that Grateful Dead and Jerry Garcia Band material. And we like doing a different show every night. Like this past weekend, we did like 16 songs on Friday and then 14 songs on Saturday. There was no song repeats there. It was a different musical adventure each night with a lot of improvisation thrown in. We have a general idea of where we're going. Like in jazz, it's called a chart, the music chart. Where in a symphony, it's a musical score. Like everyone in the orchestra is playing that note for note. Where the jazz chart is like, well, here's the basic melody and here's the basic chord changes. Have fun with it, and that's where for us the magic and the fun really is at.
I love that. So when did you start playing the bass guitar?
I oddly enough started on saxophone.
Oh, wow.
At age 10.
10.
And my parents took me to a movie. This was before Netflix and TV only had 11 channels on it. And we went to the movies and saw a movie called New York, New York. And there was a saxophone player in there. And it seems like just a lot of fun being a jazz musician in New York. So I thought, man, I want a saxophone. And told my parents that, and they wanted to encourage me. So they ran out and bought me a saxophone and got me private lessons at the music store. And I started learning how to sight read music but by the time I got to age 15, I traded that in on a bass guitar because I wanted to rock and roll. I saw saw the Beatles on TV
Mhm.
and thought Paul McCartney singing and playing bass was a cool thing, and I could hear the bass lines. And at the time, everyone else was buying a guitar and wanting to be Eddie Van Halen with a whammy bar. So me being at 15 years old, having a bass, it got me in a band right away.
Mm.
Where I'm in a band with 19, 20, 21 years olds, and they got cars, and they've got weed, and they've got parties. Like, hey, we got a gig for the band. We're playing at this party. My buddy's having a party. But back then, that was keg parties, and there'd be 200 or 300 people there, and we're the band set up on a slab of cement over in the corner in somebody's garage, and we're playing heavy metal and Leonard Skinner and whatever we could,
Oh,
muster up, some Zeppelin, and trying to write some songs about partying. But it's been a long musical journey. Ultimately, I went to college and studied jazz and music theory.
oh.
And then I had a jazz quartet for a while, which we'd pick up gigs in the Soulard area of St. Louis. But uh, out of the several bands I had, the one that was getting the most gigs was the one that was playing the Grateful Dead music.
Huh.
And I love that music because I saw the Grateful Dead live for the first time in 1989 at Alpine Valley Amphitheater up in Wisconsin. And I got hooked on the band. I've seen him 77 times with Jerry Garcia in the band, another 30 plus times with him not being in the band.
Whoa.
And then ultimately got in the Jerry Garcia Band
Huh.
because he died and the Dead kept going, and so did the Jerry Garcia Band, and they would just replace. Ultimately, I got a turn for 4 years in the one group. And that's how I was able to learn a lot of that material to where now I can show it to other people. And it's a lot of fun. These days, I just kind of book the gigs, and some of them I'm producing. Like at this venue, I book the bands here and I do the marketing. And so I just booked my own band here, and we've had this Schwagstock series going. This was our 56th event this past weekend.
56?
Yeah, and it's not a yearly thing. At one point, we were doing 5 of them a year.
Whoa.
Because for 8 years, I owned a venue called Camp Zoe. It was in Salem, Missouri, and we were doing lots of events there. We even had George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic out there,
Whoa.
Los Lobos, Del McCurry Band, Infected Mushroom from Europe came over, Bass Nectar, when
Oh.
Bass Nectar was huge. Bass Nectar's played out there twice.
Ah.
And String Cheese Incident, yeah, they did a 3-night run out there and brought in an assortment of groups. It was big. We did a weekend of Marshall Tucker Band where we just hired him, and so that went on for a while. And then, along the way, I got a federal indictment and went to prison for a year or so, and then got out, and then I started helping doing entertainment and marketing management for a big resort here at Lake Ozarks. Did that for 4 years, and now I've been at this campground here for 2 years, helping like management and marketing, just putting the whole business together. It takes a whole large team of people. I'm just a piece of the puzzle, but I'm one of the main directors, and we've got investors involved, and now we got a business deal going with the Insane Clown Posse, Psychopathic Records. So we got the Gathering of the Juggalos coming in August, and it's really putting us on the map between all the momentum that's happening. It's a beautiful piece of property, 300 acres just south of Camdenton, Missouri, and Max Creek, Missouri, in the Lake of the Ozarks region. But this whole region is exploding. There's 2 new casinos moving in. There's an amusement park moving in. Marriott's putting in another 400 rooms, and that's all within a 30-mile radius of this place. So it's kind of riding the wave. There's a housing shortage in the area. There's a lot of real estate development projects happening. And I've seen the growth in this area since the 70s. I remember like in the late 70s coming down here and seeing Dog Patch, the arcade, and just the strip, and how it's really expanded. The lake has more shoreline than I think the California order or something. And
Yep.
then the Netflix show Ozark really put this place on the map,
Oh yeah.
especially in COVID. That's when I got the call from that one resort to start working over there. It was COVID hit, and it was the next year, and they were opening up, and they were having trouble getting people there. And people were like, "Call Jimmy Tebeau. He gets people together and has a band." And because I used to produce Schwagstock events at the base of Bagnell Dam at Lake Ozarks, it's like 40 acres that was under the lease of an American Legion Hall that was there at the time. And I struck a deal with them, and they subleased it to me. And I think back then I was giving them $5,000, and then they got all the liquor sales. Like their Legion Hall was open the whole time,
Oh.
and they sold, I think, pork sandwiches or something too. They were selling a few things, but they would clean up.
Oh yeah.
But we used to get 3,000 people down there. And it got so big, we ultimately bought that Camp Zoe property. And then, so we weren't coming to the lake. So that's when I got the call to come back. And we started producing the big concerts in 2021 when nobody else was really doing it. You know, I think even in 2020, it was during COVID. Like during COVID, now that I think about it, it was 2020. We came down. They're like, "Hey, will you play by the pool? We don't have any restrictions in the area." That's what it was. The whole country was shut down, except Lake Ozarks. There was no mask rule, and
What?
yeah,
That is
yeah.
dope.
And I remember I really didn't want the gig. Like they were like, "Hey, will you come down and we can book your band to play? But we're also looking for somebody to hire to help get people here." And I was thinking, I don't want a job at a hotel resort. And they're like, "Well, if you come down, we'll comp you a room, and we got a nice restaurant here. We'll comp you a steak dinner." And I was like, "Okay, let me think about it." And it was 2 weeks later. I was hanging out with my kids, and they're at the time they were like 12 and 15 or something. And we woke up, I'm like, "Kids, we can either go on a float trip today, or we can go to the Lake Ozarks and get this free steak dinner and a stay at the, we can run around." And they're like, "Let's do that."
Yeah.
So I show up for this job interview with my kids because I didn't want the gig. But then I saw the place, and it was really cool. And then the person I was interviewing with also had their kids there at the time. So all the kids hung out, and it was fine. And then they offered me some really good pay to be their entertainment marketing director. And what I started doing in 2020 is out by the swimming pool. We had a big professional stage, but it was a huge pool. It could fit like 2,000 people out there.
Wow.
So I started running bands every weekend, but hardly any bands were crazy enough to play. So I would just hire musicians, and it was like the Schwag, and we were like the house band by the pool. And the word got out, and we were getting 500 plus people out there by the pool on the weekends.
Whoa.
And, people were taking pictures, and it was making CNN. I mean, the big one that video that got out was on from Backwater Jacks, which that video went viral. Look at these crazy people at Lake the Ozarks. It's lawless. There's no, they're all gonna die, which made people around the country going, "We're going there."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hotel rooms were available.
Wow.
Airbnbs were available. Great rates at that time too. So we entertained those people, and that really re-embedded me because I hadn't done events in this area in a while. But then through working there for 4 years, I started coming out here to this campground, which was for sale. And I just kind of made an offer on the place. And so I've been out here for 2 years now.
2 years.
Yeah, managing the place, just trying to get it in order because I have 8 years experience owning and managing a campground of this size. And it's a big endeavor. There's a lot of moving parts and a large staff. But the journey continues. And here we are. And now we got the Insane Clown Posse coming in with Tech Nine, Vanilla Ice, Milli Vanilli, Hate Breed. There's I think 40 or 50 different acts. It's a lot of rap artists that I'm not familiar with, but a number of them. I knew Tech Nine because we ran 3 or 4 shows with Tech Nine over there at the pool at that resort I was working at. And so, I've worked with the Strange Music crowd management before, and I knew it'd be similar with Insane Clown Posse
Oh yeah.
because I chased after that one. I heard they were looking for a place, so I just emailed them and said, "Hey, I got this venue.
Uh,
I'm the manager. I can make it real easy and quick. We can get this announced right away. Come on out and look at the place." And they did.
yeah.
And they dug the vibe and felt that, you know, me and the team here would be a good mix with their team
Oh yeah.
to where we could facilitate and they can produce and we can support them where it's needed. Like providing a little bit extra staff for runners. They're just directly hiring our people and directing them, which is great.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're glad to have that be that local support, with like medics or if they need golf cars, or we're facilitating
Yeah.
and assisting where needed. But they're pretty much self-contained. They're a very professional and organized bunch,
Oh yeah.
where maybe from the outside, like rappers from Detroit, they're organized and professional. It's
Mm-hmm.
like with the military grade, like a number of the people in the crew have military background. The guy that
Mm-hmm.
was here over the weekend is like, oh yeah, I was just stationed at Fort Leonard Wood for a while. So
Yeah.
it's like a military operation. Like if you say you're going to be somewhere at 8 o'clock, you're there at 8 o'clock and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
doing what was agreed to be done. So we're trying to match that energy,
Right.
and with as much as we take on, it's a challenge, but we've been hitting our mark.
Well, they're
And
huge.
to-
I mean, those gatherings are. I mean, I grew up listening to ICP and Cottonmouth Kings, and it's watching those gatherings. Uh, they are just phenomenal. And like you said, the venue that you have here, Mother Nature's Retreat, is that the right name for it?
The official name is Mother Nature's Riverfront Retreat. I call it Mother Nature's for short. And you can't, technically on paper, you can't claim Mother Nature's. It has to be Mother Nature's Laundromat, Mother Nature's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the previous owner added that Riverfront Retreat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what criteria has to be met for something to be called a retreat, but I probably would have named it something shorter as a marketing guy. That's 4 words I got to type every time. But so a lot of the marketing were like Mother Nature's, and I think when people refer to it, they're like, "Oh, you going to Mother Nature's?"
Right.
But it is a riverfront retreat, but soon to be like resort. We'll be resort status,
Oh, wow.
because we're planning on building a lot more stuff out here.
Oh, that's awesome. I love the fact that you can come here and you can just hop right in the river. We actually rented one of your new tubes this weekend, and that was awesome. We fit everybody in there and got to just travel down the river, and it was so neat to just relax and see the beauty of it and to hang out with people. It's more than just coming here as a retreat. It's really a whole experience. You're coming here and getting a real full life just experience. I mean, how would you explain everything that goes on here when somebody shows up for a weekend?
Well, I'm really happy to hear you say that, because that's what we kind of are selling or offering is an experience, and which involves a combination of elements, which is camping, swimming, float trips, live music, vendors, and then community too of people. Like we build a village every weekend of vendors and people that are all camping together, coming together for music, and then we all have this musical ritual where we all meet in the field, the big field in front of the stage each night on Friday and Saturday, and then there's an assortment of artists that get up and connect with the audience musically. And then we build a bonfire. Last night we did fireworks on set break. So, and yesterday afternoon at 3 o'clock, we all got together on the beach. We say we all, there was 50 to 100 of us, but we formed a human peace sign on the beach and flew a drone over the top. So we shot a video and a photo, and we'll be posting that on our social media soon. But we had fun with that. A few people came up. It's like, man, that was a cool idea. So maybe we'll do that like every weekend. I wanted to bring back drum circles too, like community interaction, because you're when you come out here, sure you're going to swim and camp and maybe shop a little bit and eat some food and hit the shower house, enjoy the music, just and meet some new friends, and so we're presenting an opportunity for community and creative expression. A number of these people are getting getting fancy with their campsites, hanging tapestries and making color, not only a campsite, but a colorful campsite. And then, who comes the most prepared? It's not a competition, but it's like, oh, next time I'm going to pre-make some sandwiches and I'm going to bring a bottle of Malibu rum and some mixer and I'm going to buy 3 bags of ice when I get there. And to where when you go in their campsite, it's like Shangri-La. It's like, can I offer you a sandwich? So you got sandwiches?
Yep.
Yeah, ham on rye. Here you go, buddy. You need some mustard? You got mustard?
Yep. I noticed that people were getting very decadent with their with their tents, and not just that, but like the cool experience of being able to go and do your own tie-dye shirts. That was amazing.
Oh, interactive.
Oh, great food. You had 2 stages, I noticed. You had one band that was going on the main stage, and then you had a sub stage going over by the food area. And we were loving it, and we were making friends the whole time. It's just, anybody that's listening to this, I highly suggest it. Carve out a weekend, come out, bring your camper, bring your car if you want to come and just hang out for the day, for the night. It is incredible, an experience you'll never, ever forget. Now, all right, Jimmy. So we have a segment that we do, okay? It's called Marceline Mastery. Have you ever heard of Marceline, Missouri by any chance?
No.
You've heard of Walt Disney, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, I heard he was from Missouri.
Yeah, so Walt Disney is from Marceline, Missouri. This is
which is what, by Springfield or something?
Are you familiar with Chillicothe?
Chillicothe,
Brookfield,
more Illinois. Is that by Moberly or?
So it's over by Moberly. Yep, in that area.
Okay, kind of north of Columbia.
Yep, on your way 36.
My parents lived in Paris, Missouri for a while.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's on your way to Kansas City out on 36.
Okay.
You can barely miss it. It's like 2,200 people, but beautiful little small town. We own a smokehouse out there, Tiger Country Smokehouse. So
oh, cool.
If you're ever in the area, we're already talking about making plans about, we have a friend that just got a food truck that we might start loading up and coming out next year, or something to come and cook for you guys. But if you're ever in the area, we'd come on out. We'd love to have you in and cook for you guys. And if you ever want to do...
Gosh, that sounds tasty. It was about 2 hours from here?
Yeah, about 2.5, maybe closer to 3. But
okay, so it's closer to Kansas City from here, north of Highway 70.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes it easier. And Walt Disney's from there?
Yeah, so they have a Walt Disney's Hometown Museum, his old barn. Have you ever been to Disneyland by any chance?
I've been to Disney World, and I've driven by Disneyland.
Okay. So Disneyland, they have a Main Street USA. It's actually modeled off of the Main Street in Marceline, Main Street USA.
Oh, shit.
And then our smokehouse is on Main Street USA in Marceline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get it. I know what you're talking about, and I understand.
I have a drum set in the smokehouse that I practice on all the time.
Wow.
Or, sorry, 2 months I've been practicing, but I've been playing, making beats since 2012. And
that's cool.
I wanted to get it out in percussion, but you had me spark an interest for album listening parties.
Oh, that would be neat.
Yeah, because there's musical ability out there, man, that people come in and, I want to give them a place to jam, and I think you expanded my mind on that. So if you're ever out there, you wanted to have an album listening party at the Smokehouse, just give us a call and we'll get it set up.
Great. No, that's fun. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, man. But you got the venue out here too, so this is gonna be our retreat coming out from Marceline.
I'm glad you guys had such a good time.
Oh, dude, yes, it is.
And because we try so hard, and we've been on such a limited budget until we just got this investor. So, and we're being real slow and smart about everything. We're not being. I've seen businesses go. The resort I worked at, those guys were millionaires, 2 brothers. One from London, one from Los Angeles, and they just overspent stupid money buying like one day a video wall showed up, $250,000.
Huh.
And they're like, Jimmy, do you know how to hook this up and what should we do with it? I'm like, why didn't we get the roof fixed first? Why did we? Okay, I'll hang them and get them stuff up them, but the ROI on this just isn't making sense in my head. But so I'm like, we're not going to make that mistake here. Sure, it'd be cool to get, but that's a 3rd layer of icing on the cake.
Oh, yeah.
And only if the cake and the other icing on top of it's thick, you know. And it wasn't at the time, because once I was there for a little bit, I'm like, then I was seeing different departments poorly mismanaged. The front desk was atrocious. I was like, why are we charging $243 a night and everyone else is at $129 and why we're only at 14%? Shouldn't we do? And they're looking at me like, you're the marketing director. Shut the fuck up. I'm like, yeah, but you don't have to come to me going, hey, man, there's no band playing at the pool and there's nobody out there. Because there was always a band playing, there was always people. And then we get there and the bar wouldn't be stocked. I'm like, well, who's the manager that orders? And then I'd have to help it. I'm like, man, I'm doing too much. But then they just put me on a big salary and I was doing a lot. But then there was just too much shady shit going on. And I was there 4 years, though, salaried. But it did get me into this property, though.
That's good, man. And like you said, put you in a place to be able to express your art where you want to be. And
yeah, I was playing a lot of shows there. They did treat me well. You know, I had a hotel room that I could live in, and then there was a conference center. There was 9 of them, and I took over one of them as where I stored my equipment and had like a photo video studio, which you used it a lot for the events there, and a lot of my equipment was used for the corporate events there. So it was a nice and then and then later on I had my own office upstairs in the administrative section, and it was crazy. One winter we locked up for a month and I was the only guy there just to kind of watchdog the place and work on stuff. But it was like the Shining, you know, when it snowed really crazy one night. And I was like, man, if the power goes out, that's going to be really weird. And power was going out in the area and has went out at that place before, but it didn't. And but I was playing a lot of music through that time too, and then organizing a lot of stuff and trying to work on this deal. It took a couple of years just to get into this deal, and I've been in this deal two years. So it's been a long journey. What a long, strange trip it's been. You know, doing this podcast has made me think about a lot of that stuff.
So let's get into this. So for you as an artist here, Jimmy, what's the one thing that people assume about your art or your personality that actually happens to be true?
What do they assume about me? Well, you brought it up earlier, just they bring up the energy, like the energy is so pure and strong. And that's what I got out of the Grateful Dead when I first saw them. I'd seen a lot of concerts by the time I seen the Grateful Dead, and the energy that you felt, and Jerry, I think, was a key element of that, because I got to see the Jerry Garcia Band at the Warfield Theater once, and just that energy, and I was like, want to figure out how he does that with music to create that energy, and part of it, I believe, came from his heart and soul and his aura, and it was sublimated and pushed out there through the music. So if people assume anything that it's going to be good energy when they feel the music, I don't know if that answered the question.
Almost definitely.
I don't know. You know, because I get a lot of comments on that. It's like, oh, the energy. But you even brought it up earlier. Yeah. And that generates throughout the whole day, even though it's a 3-hour show or whatever. Just, you know, we're all living together for 2 or 3 days, and then you know, like we put that bluegrass band out there. They played 3:30 to 7 yesterday, and that was a good vibe. We've never done that here yet, and I think we might have to start doing that every Saturday.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like, oh, let's go out there. They got a bluegrass band, and there's so many bluegrass bands that want to play out here. If we could do a different one every week and not repeat one through the whole season, to where it's like, oh, let's go on this weekend. Drifters Mile's playing. Or it could be Drifters Mile every weekend. You know, we could make them the house bluegrass band, but then it'd probably be nice to switch it up, you know, even though the Schwag, my band, plays here a lot. But what they assume about me, you know, I don't know. It may be quality of musicianship of not only myself, but the people that play around me. They're all like the guitar player, not just a guitar player, but a great guitar player. So I think they expect and assume a higher level of musicianship with great energy.
Sure, definitely, and we see it. And what's the name of your guitarist that was up on stage with you last night?
That was Josh Braden.
Josh Braden.
And then the night before it was J-Mo from the band Glowstick. So, and the Schwag's always been that me and an ever-evolving cast of musical characters, but some people are on the ride for like up to 5 or 6 years, to where it's the same drummer every show for 5 or 6 years, and then sometimes it's a different drummer 5 shows in a row, because I book the show and grab who's available. But there is definitely first chair, second chair, third chair, fourth chair. I got in the address book, I got 11 different keyboardists that know the material and have played the show before and have done rehearsals. And but then the guy that played this weekend, Frisbee Coleman, he's based out of Little Rock. He's not always available. He gets some really great gigs on like Broadway in Nashville, where he'll do 4 nights at a piano bar. He's one of those dueling piano guys.
Whoa!
He knows like over 1,000 songs, and he knows all the college fight songs. He knows the little comedy shticks for the bachelorette parties. And he's cleaning up on some of those gigs with tips and stuff. So I can't always get him, but we tend to get him and for 29 years, he was in the Bobby Keys band, Bobby Keys being the saxophone player of the Rolling Stones, the guy that recorded on Brown Sugar and all that. So he knows a lot of Rolling Stones songs. He's a man of 1,000 songs. So I try getting great players. Number of gigs, we use Rick King out of Chicago, and was Coco Taylor's touring drummer. He's the second chair for Buddy Guy, and does a lot of, I met him touring with another musician, and he was way overqualified to play with us because he's just an outstanding drummer. Like we'll take him to Birdfest, and he'll do like a 10-minute drum solo by himself, and he'll have 1,500 people just enthralled and entertained for those 10 minutes, like they're cheering.
Man.
So I try surrounding myself with players that are better than me.
That's right.
So
hey
it
man,
makes me
always
a better
keep you
musician.
sharp.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, I mean that's amazing. And seeing those guys on stage last night, they were just incredible. We got to get Josh on here one of these days, and then next time we come up.
Yeah, he's great. He's got a Bachelor of Arts degree from the Berklee College of Music.
Whoa.
And he also owns a little music school in Troy, Missouri, where he rents space and has his it's like education studio, teaching studio, where he's got little cubicles. He's got other teachers that work under him, and he books the lessons. And he also has a little recording studio in there to where, he's not a big major label recording studio, but for these garage bands and these beginning bands that want a recording, they need somewhere to go, and he offers an economical solution. He'll get a band in there, and they'll be in there 3 hours. And he's like, just set up, I'll mic you up, we'll multi-track record you, we'll get you a little mix, and you're out the door with the recording.
How cool.
To where those guys, a lot of those bands can't afford $50 an hour, and they don't, where Josh is like, look, give me a couple $100 and you're out the door with a couple songs recorded.
How cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think he's real smart about it. We're talking about doing some sort of band camp out here. Like this place, we're trying to make it not only recreational, but somewhat educational and interactive and community, and let's get together and learn stuff.
Yeah.
And like if we had 100 cabins out here in a big enclosed area, we could do band camp and have rock and roll band camp to where it'd be more for adults, not like kids, but you're 30 years old, you own 3 guitars, and you really just want to jam with some people and get some education, and then at the end, and then we put on concerts on the stage all week where we entertain each other, and I don't know. We're throwing around all kinds of ideas. I'm probably way off topic on the
sign me up, bro. And her too. She plays the violin. We'll be here.
I'm in. All right. I'm glad you didn't go, that's a dumb idea.
No. Just keep my number there for when you start it up. Yeah.
No.
That is awesome.
So did we ever get to question number
2? Yeah. Here's number 2, the shallow reef. You got past the surface here. So, what's a small everyday ritual that you have in your life or in your art that keeps you grounded?
Oh God, smoking weed.
That's a big part of the culture out here.
I think I'm a regular stoner. I'll get up in the morning, shower, eat, do bong hits, some really good weed. I don't do edibles or dabs. It's just too much. I just like a couple hits of nice green weed, and then every 2 or 3 hours, and just a little booster shot, a couple 1-ies here and there. keeping and it does keep me grounded because I get into a lot of shit that's very stressful. You know, even getting on stage last night was a real challenge. You know, one thing after another was preventing me from doing it. And you announce an 8 o'clock showtime, and you want to get on as close to that as possible. And at 8:10, I'm like, what is stopping this from launching? And so it's a lot of stress. But smoking some weed is like, it'll be all right. We'll get this.
There you go.
And we tend to get through, you know, just running this business. You know, sometimes employees don't show up when they're supposed to, or they don't completely do what they're supposed to, and you got to keep an eye on that too. And then I got to get on stage and pour my heart out to the world. So
that's right.
Smoking weed helps me get through that.
Right. Do you also write music as well?
You know, we get real improvisational with the music, so maybe that's somewhat compositional. But and here lately, I'll record some stuff that I make up here and there, and put it on little 10-second, 15-second videos. I put it out, but I haven't really like composed a grouping of songs and put it on an album. I have, you know, in one of the earlier groups I was in, you know, when I said I was in 5 different bands at one point, one was an all original group, and we did record a CD, and I do have credit as writing a song on there. But it's just something I made up live at a show about tripping and that trip and experience. And I'm almost embarrassed when I look back on it, but a number of people are like, you know, I'm not pushing it as the latest dance hit or anything.
Right.
And it was more of an art piece. It seems like that's kind of what I'm cranking out, but it's art. So the art I do is real interpretive.
Right.
You know, and you look at Andy Warhol, and he took a can of Campbell's soup and just kind of colored it a little bit. You know, maybe that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm taking the Grateful Dead's can of soup and I'm coloring it in.
That's right. Well, and you like you said,
offerings.
Yeah, you're surrounding yourself with talented artists like Glowstick and Liz, and the way they're writing music as well. It's hard not to come up with your own kind of creative expression on things.
Yeah, they're full on writing songs. You know.
Yeah.
What gets to me sometimes is when there's a group of musicians and they're like, listen to our originals, and it really just sounds like Def Leppard, and they took the Def Leppard tune and changed it just a little bit, you know, and which is respectful and totally cool, but it's to me it's not so unique, and not that it's bad what they're doing, but I don't want to come off like that either. But so I'm really coloring in like a format that was already there. And not that I'm saying what I'm doing is the right way to do it or the best way to do it. It's just the way I happen to do it. And that wasn't never by design anyway, you know.
Well, yeah, and it's different and it's entertaining. It's not like you're listening to the same track, you know, that you've heard 1,000 times. It's different. It's your own interpretation, and it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, we're interpreters, you know. We're like a symphony orchestra. Their goal is to replicate what's written on that score of music, know exactly as it was written by Beethoven or Bach or whatever, which is a real challenging thing in itself. Just getting everyone to show up on time and to dress nice and have their instrument tuned and be able to, like, when the conductor says go, everyone's hitting their parts, and you know, so. It's all art. It's all beautiful, and then there's an audience for anything. That's what the glow stick guys were saying. You know, they live stream a lot. They're like, on the internet, there's something for everyone, and there's a lot of really niche things. You know, and then when you get into like the OnlyFans accounts, like the big guy in the bluegrass band, he was like, I'm gonna start an OnlyFans where I'm going to be there shirtless and I'm going to pour buttermilk on myself every day.
Yes.
Like, dude, as funny as we're laughing right
Make
now,
your money.
you'd probably make a couple grand a month.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Because there's going to be 200 or 300, I don't want to say weirdos, but select people that would enjoy that sort of entertainment.
Enthusiastic people.
And financially be at a position in their life where they can kick you down $100 a month for you to go out and buy that buttermilk and to pour it all over.
Which kind of leads into the next question here. I'm thankful for that. But what's a part of your craft that you've mastered that most people don't even realize takes skill?
Well, improvisation, because over the years I've played with, I've seen a great guitar player and ask them to sit in, and they're like, man, I'm one of those guys that it has to be all written out and I play it the same way every time. I'm like, okay, well, that's so the improvisational thing to where I can just grab, a raw key and make up a song on the spot, or be improvisational. From what I've seen, is a lot of musicians can't do that. And there's a number of musicians that learn by ear and they're just imitating what they're doing on the recording. And that is an art in itself to be able to do that. And that's what a lot of players do.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's not one's better than the other or whatever. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I can do that as well, but then I can also make stuff up and improvise. So I think that's the short answer there, is the improvisational aspect
Oh yeah,
of it.
100%. And that's where the creativity stems from right there. So what's a personal relationship or life moment that quietly shaped the way you create today?
Oh gosh, that's, well, to be honest, probably doing LSD at Grateful Dead shows. I've had some of those nights I was on a lot of LSD, and the music would take me to crazy journeys, fun journeys, musical journeys through my mind,
Hmm.
making me think about a lot of things. And it was a lot of inspiration to gather people and to create this energy that people can feel that flow.
Mm.
Like it's this musical catharsis. And I guess that's the answer to that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a journey in itself. So what's a belief about making art that you hold, even if almost no one else agrees with you?
Oh, as an artist, create what you think is cool, and then you try finding other people that also find it cool. I see some of these abstract painters that, okay, most people would not like that painting or even consider that splatter art, art. But that doesn't mean that artist who does the splatter paint art now has to just get really good at portraits,
Mm-hmm.
So as an artist, I think you should do what makes you, because I started wondering, is this Grateful Dead thing I'm doing commercially viable? And I'm like, you know what? I have fun with it. And if I can still get some people together, because, I see what's real popular now is like 80s rock bands, and I could put together, 3 hours of 80s rock hits and get some $3,000 gigs right away.
Mm-hmm.
And I could even wear a wig and wear spandex, because that's burning hot right now. There's a band out of Springfield that's just cleaning up on that stuff right now, and they do a pretty good job. They even have the flash pods and the fog geysers and stuff, and I could jump that bandwagon. But I just have a lot of fun playing this Grateful Dead music, and why should I change my format? So I think it's what makes the artist feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And I seem to be able to find players and find enough of an audience to come check it out and to get enough gigs to do, so I don't have to retool the whole thing just all for the make a few extra bucks, going through the act of putting on a guitar, because those 80s rock tunes, you're going to play them just like the recording, which is fine, which then kind of takes out the fun improvisational element that I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Which those guys in that band out of Springfield, I'm telling you that they couldn't do what we're doing. But again, it's not one's right, one's wrong, but because they're doing really well financially, and they're getting a big crowd to come out and sing "Come On, Feel the Noise," "Girls Rock Your Boys." Okay, did that answer that one?
Yeah. I mean, that
I
like
could keep going, but then I'm like, I feel I'm diving off into tangents.
No,
so I
you're
should
good.
Probably get back to the staff.
You're good.
I'm
No,
supposed to be working, but
Okay.
they knew I was going to do this
Okay.
interview.
Well, the Grateful Dead, we've in Marceline, we have people literally that stop me down the street and like, hey, you're going to that event? You going out there to Schwagstock? Yeah, the Grateful Dead, right? The band that's doing the Grateful Dead. Yeah. So people literally they hear about it, and that's 3 hours away. So it's a lasting impression.
That's good. Well, we've been doing it a long time, and at this point in my life, I'm 58 years old, and I've been doing this gig for 36 years, and for over 4,000 shows, and it's touched a lot of people and reached a lot of people. There's still people that are like, oh, I haven't been to a Schwagstock in 15 years. It's like, and they're like, man, the energy's still there. That comment came in today. It's like, I'm glad I came. I felt that energy, that vibe, that community, and of course the music, you know, because we're trying to have musical peaks throughout our show, and we never know where it's going to happen, and neither does the audience. And then we all hit it together. It's like, oh, that one was good. And sometimes it happens in this song, and then it doesn't, and you're like, well, it wasn't bad. But then the next song where it never happened, it happens. And it's like, wow, I didn't know that could happen. That happened to one song last night. We're like, well, we've never taken it that way, and it's never hit like that. We should try doing that every time.
Yeah, that was the vibe was amazing, and then having the pyro in between that with the nail, the guy. Oh my gosh, the lady's sitting on the guy on the nail board.
The circus show. Yeah.
Ooh, it's a whole experience. It's a whole show. It's a whole vibe. It's not just music.
And it's set up in an environment where all the world's a stage, and even though a person is an attendee, they're also one of the characters walking around. You know, the one girl in the bikini yesterday with the all the dangly stars and moons that were hanging off of her, glistening in the sun. I'm like, girl, I gotta take your picture for social media. And she was all smiling, ready to pose.
Yeah.
You know, I thought, you know, she's either gonna respond that way or be like, get lost, creep. You know? But she knew I was kind of with the venue, and I was probably legit. You know, I really was going to post a picture with social media. So.
And everyone knows you around here too. It's hard to...
that helps. You know, I never want to be feel entitled or like, do you know who I am?
No,
I don't want to pull that card.
Oh no,
because you always got to be humble and classy. I've learned that from some bigger artists. You know.
Yeah. Hey, I met you at the front office, man. I never would have thought we'd be sitting and having an interview. This is awesome.
Oh yeah, I open the office. I make the coffee in the mornings because I'm up early anyway, and I'm making coffee for myself. So I'm like, I could get it going down here. And some mornings we bring in $400 or $500, you know, between 7 and 9, and then I get to chat with people because usually after that I'm just nonstop busy. And no one really has time to shake my hand. And I try, you know, sometimes I only have a 2-minute interaction with anyone their whole life. Right. And I don't want that to be rushed or, you know, like, yeah, I met Jimmy once and he was a dick. He said, don't talk to me, I'm in a hurry. You know, I'm busy right now, you know. So, you know, I try giving people their moment. And I'm flattered and honored anyone would want to stop and say hello and thanks for the music and blah blah blah, which does inspire me to want to keep doing it. And even if I won the lottery tomorrow, I'd be still playing music and getting people together, and I'd just make it cooler. I build a bigger, better stage, have bigger, better PA system, more of a light show. We really want to do some cool stuff out of that field.
I cannot wait. So 6, so the deep current here, the hard lesson, what's a mistake or a failure in your personal life or career that ended up sharpening your craft?
Oh my Lord, yeah.
Getting deep.
Yeah, I went to prison over all this stuff. And to be very organized in business and to be really hard-nailed if you're running a business. You know, I used to let shit go by way longer than it should have. There's certain band members I should have fired right away instead of hoping that they'd get better over a year, because there was a lot of wasted time there, because there seems to be a cycle. And that's just not with the Schwag or even this place. I think it's with any business, because what happens, you know, the music is a business if you're trying to make money and a career off it, so you got to treat it like that. And so a hard lesson was, you know, take the extra time and make your business organized very tight, and to if you got to fire somebody, do it at the earliest of signs. You know, bring it up, communicate first, but if there's no big improvement, it's like, hey, this ain't working out, and just be graceful and classy about it. Because, man, some of those people were vicious. You know, you'd fire them, and then they would just slander you, you know, like, oh, because I guess for some band members, it was the biggest thing in their life that made them who they were or gave them some identity, and then you fire them, and it's hard for them to be like, oh yeah, I got fired because was showing up late and I wasn't having my parts down and I was a drama mess at every gig, it's easier to say, oh, I quit because those guys suck and they don't know how to organize business and Jimmy's a weirdo and whatever. So I've been slandered a number of times and I'm like, God, how could I have prevented that, you know? And that seems to be like, you know, that the earliest of signs before it gets bad. Because when you let it get bad and then you do that, that seems to be the result. And not that that slander knocks you down. You just got to push through it, and that's a sign that you're doing some shit. If people are hating on you because they're jealous and resentful or whatever, and I work hard, and you know, it's one thing I like about the Insane Clown Posse crew. They work really hard. And they're very diligent. They'll call me at 7 in the morning or 11 at night, and I tell them it's okay to, and I try being responsive and returning that energy. So that's the kind of people I want to work with. So I look more for that, and that's a real limited, you know, percentage of people overall.
Well, that's a great opportunity that's come through, and man, we can't wait to see it just come to fruition. I'm so excited for that. I'm pumped, man. All right. So the Twilight Zone here, your unseen work. So what's a part of your process that nobody sees, but without it, nothing that you make would feel like you?
Oh, the amount of hours that I'm on the computer marketing myself. Like I'm on the stage for 3 hours, but there's days that I'm doing marketing from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. and it's still not all done. Because one of the tricks that I do that are probably up there with my bass playing skills and singing skills are Facebook marketing. I've had hundreds and hundreds of hours of the one-on-one training, and they'd say I'm advanced at it, and that's how I do all the marketing here. And then when I worked at that resort for 4 years, I was managing all their advertising account, and I was getting it to where I could spend $3,000 a month and get more done. When I got on the marketing team there, they were spending $12,000 a month, and they were doing print ads and newspaper, old school stuff that isn't as effective. And I got them down to $3,000 a month and got more of an effective return through Facebook marketing. But it's a deep science, so that's. I think one of the things that when people see me on stage, they think maybe I napped most of the day and then all I did was jump up there. But then hours of rehearsal, even this past week, we rehearsed days and hours at a time, fine-tuning those songs. And the musical director, so I think a lot of people don't see the amount of time that goes into marketing and rehearsing the band. But they seem to appreciate it. They respond to the advertising and marketing. You can tell because they show up. They're out there in the field when you're playing music. So we just got to keep delivering the quality.
Hey, man.
Marketing. God, you know, if you're a musician these days and you want to be a professional, that means you have to be really good at social media and marketing.
Yeah, and on your own too. You can't just have a PR agent doing it.
And there's hardly anyone you can really hire to do it. Here at the lake area, I'm one of the few guys that are, you know this depth. But some of these businesses, they don't need it because they got a good placement on a busy highway and they put the shingle out and it works. With us, we're off the beaten path, so we really got to do it. But, you know, I think a lot of people don't realize how much I got to pound the computer to be able to have those 3 hours of musical glory on that stage, or to be able to share that musical energy with the crowd.
Oh yeah, that's no joke. I know. For the Smokehouse, I do all the computer stuff too as well. All the Facebook, like you said, it's a science. It's no joke.
It sucks for an artist. You just can't be an artist these days.
I know what you mean. Just to get that time to go and sit and jam out for a little bit. All right, the Midnight Zone, the personal shift. So, what's something that you had to outgrow in your life or your mindset to reach the level that you're at now?
Oh gosh. These past 2 years, I had to stop dating. You know, I keep ending up with these really pretty younger girls that are younger than me, you know, in their early 20s, and that takes up a lot of time and energy. And I was married twice, once for 6 years, once for 18 years. I got 3 kids. The one works in the store, is working in the store now.
I met him.
Yeah. And but to get this business where it's at these past couple of years, I've been single. So just giving up personal relationships to really push, because I'm taking on quite a lot with this commercial campground management type thing. Real estate development project is kind of what it's turning into, and to keep the band going and everything. So that's helped. But, I've always had a girlfriend or been married, so I gave that up to devote the time to make this place something cool and magical. And to get the deal to where it's at is, I'm doing 18 hours. I worked till 1:30 last night, and I opened the store at 7 a.m. So I had to get up at 6:30. I slept 5 hours. So I'm doing 18-hour days. And then to maintain any sort of relationship with a girl, would be really difficult.
Oh yeah.
She wouldn't, I wouldn't have much time for it, so I had to give that up. But not that it's a big missing thing in my element, because I've had plenty of it over the years. And it's kind of refreshing right now. Nobody's mad at me for anything.
Yeah, there you go.
You're not calling me back enough, and why are you talking to that other girl? It's like she was a fan. She wanted to say hello and give me a hug and thank me for the music. Am I in trouble for that? And a lot of times I was. Although I wasn't always the perfect husband. I'm not perfect on any means. I've definitely been busted cheating a few times, which I feel bad about, but comes with the territory. So but I don't know. That's the short answer to that one. Personal relationships.
Yeah, no, I got
the sacrifice.
With her, it's having another half over there that understands, the artistic process. That's an artist themselves. It's tough to find.
That helps. If you can find the right individual. That's like I'm thinking now. If I have a girlfriend of any sort, it's one that's going to work in the business and work right alongside of me. Otherwise, she'll make money doing it, and she's going to be held to a higher standard. Yeah. She'll really be under the microscope. Oh, that's Jimmy's girl. What, she get a free ride and she's on salary and doesn't do shit all day, which is good. There's checks and balances like that. I told any of the staff, if you see me, slacking, let me know, because sometimes you get so deep in the woods, whatever. We've had band members and employees over the years like develop drug problems. They're great for 3 years, and all of a sudden they're whack, and it's like, oh, there's a cocaine thing, you're fired.
Yeah.
And then they get mad because they did so great for so long. But in the music business, the one saying is, you're only as good as your last gig. It doesn't matter you were touring stadiums in 1983. It's let's see if you can fill a 200 body room at $20 a ticket. And if the answer is no, then shut up. Here's 1,500 in some hotel rooms. You ready to party or not? I'm not going to give you 10 grand, but I used to. It's like, what'd you do last week? Or whatever.
Well, you're gonna find your other half, man. I have a feeling that person's gonna come up, and it's gonna make sense. And even marketing too. That you guys can come together and collab. But I've got a vision there for you for some reason.
No, that's fine. Not that I'm like, oh, I'm lonely and I'm
No,
but, I think I could start dating right away if I wanted to. But that comes with. It's a lot of commitment of time.
Yeah, and the art right now is what you're married to, and that's what it's all about.
We'll play music and get this venue going.
Yeah. All right, and number 9. Here we go.
9.
The inner truth. So going from outer to inner now. And what's a truth about yourself that finally made your craft click into place once you accepted it?
It's probably when I was in prison and I really wanted to give up playing music. Like right when I got to prison, I did that stint in Yankton Federal Prison. I was only there 9.5 months, then in a halfway house for 6 months. But while I was there, I was really thinking about giving up music and the music industry, because, part of me is like, it led me to prison. It's like, why would I go out there and make the same mistake twice? Because here I am with another campground getting people together for music. And I got in trouble for that. Although that time it was like, people are smoking pot out there. Well, pot's legal now. And you'd really have to look really hard to find any sort of hard drugs, where, at one time that was crazy. Even at the Gathering of the Juggalos, it got kind of out of hand for a while. Now a lot of those people are 50 years old and they're just like, let's see if I can drink a few beers and still stay up past 10. I want to catch Tech 9, so that isn't a problem. But the truth in me is my love for music and the joy of creating that music. Like even last night on stage, some of the moments in the music were so magical and transcendental. You'll catch me smiling on stage. I don't realize I'm doing it. It's just that energy's there, and when it clicks. So I guess the truth is the like, well, I just have this. I guess it's like a heroin addict, like I gotta have more, but in that situation, it's a downward spiral, where this one, it's making me happy, it's making other musicians happy, it's making an audience happy. It seems like a win-win-win, and then somewhere along the way, we're trying to capitalize on that, make a few bucks. It's like, all right, we're floating boats, we're selling food, we're selling vending, we're also making money.
Right.
So it's like we're being a functional part of society. So the truth is like I just love doing it, and other people love me doing it, and it's not for everyone, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. So that's the truth. I accepted it, and here we are. But it's a hard road, because I could have easily got a job for Live Nation, with Live Nation helping with their marketing and producing shows with my experience, because compared to a guy fresh out of college that's like, hey, hire me. I've never done any of this, but I've read about it and I just got a college degree, which college degree does show that you're teachable and you can show up on time over a period of time. But me going in, it's like, well, I've got that and I've got all this experience. So I think I could have got an easy desk job, but I like getting people together and playing music. So that's a truth in me, I suppose. I don't know if that's the greatest answer for that question.
That is the greatest answer, man. Honestly, if you don't overcome that, then how are you going to get, to the goal in the end?
God, what do I want to do with my life?
Yeah. No, I get it. And like you said, why be plugged into some big, huge corporation that's going to be here? You need to do it this way, when you can say, hey, man, I have the tools, the experience to do it on my own, the way I want it to. The expression, the freedom that you have. They don't have that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you made it to the final question here. All right, I know I've taken you away from your crew.
It's all good.
Let's get to the trench. The final question here: when people look back at both your art and your life, what do you hope that they say connected the two?
Wait, ask that one more time.
When people look back at both your art and your life, what do you hope that they say connected the two?
Well, that I had a pure joy of the music, and that's the reason I did it. And that's because I got that federal indictment, and I went through that whole court thing, and then in the end I took a plea deal. And after the plea deal, you can do this thing. It's optional. I never knew this, but you can sit down with the prosecutor and you can talk about everything. The plea deal's reached. It's just like, hey, let's have a chat. And I opted to do that. And in that meeting, and this ties into my answer, is why I'm telling the story. I went into that meeting, and there was the prosecuting attorney, Keith Sorrell, I remember his name. And then, but there was a woman in there, and he started off the meeting with, hey, we appreciate you doing this, and we know you don't have to do this. But I'm going to introduce you to, I forget her name, but she was with the IRS, Internal Revenue Service. And is it okay if she sits in on this? I'm like, well, yeah, I don't really care, but I'm just curious what was her motivation for what is this standard? And they're like, no, it's very unstandard that the IRS wants to sit in on the meeting. And I'm like, well, what's your motivation for wanting to sit in on this meeting? She's like, well, Jimmy, I'm the one who audited you, and I saw you brought in over $1 million a year doing this business. And we see that we see that after our investigation of 4 years, that you know, one of the things we first suspected is that you're claiming you're bringing in $1 million, $1.5 million a year, and that usually means the business is really bringing in 3 or 4 or 5 million a year. And they called the IRS in early on because they also wanted to bust me for tax evasion. Or, you know, he really brought in this, he still owes us this. She's like, we went through everything, and every dollar you brought in, you ran through your bank accounts, and you ran it up, and then you ran it down through your QuickBooks system, and you had a professional accounting firm, and we saw that it all went to paying your employees and paying, you know, for improvements of the property, but you hardly ever kept any of it. You just kept your family's bills paid. So we never caught you with all this money. So after all these years of doing this, 7 or 8 years at that point, you never really made any money except equity in the property. I mean, I did say that I only owed $327,000 on that property that at the time was worth $1 million. So in my mind, I got $500,000 in equity. And she recognized that, but she said most of the times when she's in on investigations like this, there's this big hidden stash of money. And she's like, I wanted to come in here to ask you, since it's clear that you didn't make any big load of money, sure you earned some equity, but why you did that? And I think this is the answer to your question, is like, when I get on stage in front of thousands of people and we create that musical energy and that connection, that's something that even millionaires can't pay for. Like, hey, here's a check, here's $1 million, make me feel like this person's feeling on stage right now. And that the people in the audience are feeling what that person's feeling, to where after the show they're like, holy shit, the energy, oh my God. And it's like, I did that for that moment, you know. And I think that's part of the reason I ended up with a really short prison sentence. They're like, okay, we investigate him. We originally thought he was a Charles Manson guy, and they thought I was running a big drug ring, like I was selling kilos of cocaine, and that I was supplying all the drugs for the festival, and then I was hiding all that money.
Marty Bird.
Yeah, you know, which I can't blame him. I mean, from a distance, I probably do look pretty scary, and the whole Charles Manson story, and there was a lot of money going through the accounts. You know, they could see that, and I wasn't misspending it. Or I was overpaying a lot of people at the time. And then at that meeting, you know, well, that answers your question, why I'm doing it all is for that energy or what I'm getting out of it. But in that meeting, the IRS agent and the prosecuting attorney said, well, hey, before I got a degree in law, I got a degree in accounting. And there's something we want to tell you. It's like, your accountant has been embezzling money from you for the past 8 years and probably got you for $170,000. We can't prosecute him, but you can figure it out and you could go after him. And he did. The guy embezzled from me over the years and got me for over $100,000. And at that point, it turned out he was doing that to almost all of his clients, and all of them were there was major lawsuits going. And then the guy moved to Florida and then works at Walmart now, and the money's spent. So there's no getting any money out of him. So they did me a solid at the end. And then they even worked something out. I did this like drug program in prison. My original sentence was like 30 months or something, but they got me a sentence reduction because I did this program called RDAP in prison, which got me a big reduction. So I was out in like half the time, which was pretty cool. So I think they realized I wasn't that bad of a guy, and that they really wanted the property for Missouri's new premier state park, which is Echo Bluff State Park, which ironically I played a gig there and a bunch of people showed up for it. Yeah, that's a story in itself. But I think I got off of your question, but I think it ties into why I do it or what I get out of this whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's it, because even last night I felt that Schwagstock musical moment of why we're all here, and a number of people are like, hey, I felt that. You guys are saying it today, you know. It kind of starts, so that sparks from the fire, and it's then you know, you add all these elements. Bonfire, like the bonfire was scheduled, the fireworks were scheduled, the staffing was scheduled, and it's this dance we all do, and even the paying participants, there's a dance they do and that we all do together that and it'll build and build and build, and we're just getting started here. We don't have all the tools in place, but it'll build, and then the place should be not only super fun and inspirational and educational, but for investors, profitable, and that's the main driving force. You know, I mean, the more profitable it is, the more tools we can get to make what we're doing more. Because it would be nice to get a bigger, nicer stage, more bathrooms, more porta-johns, more food options, more point of. We need a liquor license. We need people are coming to the store wanting cigarettes. You know, we can make them. It's something they're going to drive to town and get anyway.
Yeah.
You know, if we
Vapes
make a
and
few
stuff,
bucks
yeah.
on that and provide, and we're not going to price gouge. You know, it'll be the same price it is in town. You know, there's already a good enough profit margin. You know, some of these Live Nation venues, $12 for a beer. That's not. I don't know. They're getting away with it, but I think they'd sell more beer if it was cheaper. But.
I mean, we love everything the way it is. The prices, everything down there, the vendors, everything is so convenient, and it's just perfect. We wouldn't change anything out here, Jimmy. This is a truly a beautiful, memorable spot that's gonna etch its name in history. I gotta ask, by the way, that bonfire, are you guys gonna expand that? Maybe do some bigger Burning Man type stuff?
We are. We did one last year, like. We didn't have any bands scheduled, so I hired a couple of musicians and I advertised bonfire party, old school.
Yeah.
Over 300 people showed up for the bonfire party, and I put live music. I didn't even put who was. I just hired a drummer, and actually the guitar player from last night plays drums too. I hired him on drums, and then another guy on guitar, and we did a 3-piece thing and just played tunes. And 300 people showed up, and we burned a big ass bonfire. So, we could even build some sort of, like a Burning Man thing out there and do the burn. We can call it the burn. I've been thinking about that.
Man.
It's like we'll rip off Burning Man a little bit. We'll exploit it in a beautiful, respectful way. We're not going to say we're Burning Man 2 or anything stupid and say we're as big as bad. It's like, hey, it's a little nod to those guys. Because Schwagstock is a nod to Woodstock. It's like, hey, we're all getting together as the Schwag. Grateful Dead, whatever.
Well, on that note, Jimmy, can you tell your listeners here where they can tune in, where they can find you on social media?
Oh, yeah, I need to plug the social media, me being the big marketing guy. Well, first of all, mothernaturescampground.com is the website for the venue. The Schwag.com is the website for the band. That's THESCHWAG. And we also produce, like the Birdfest concert series down in Arkansas. That's BYRDFEST.com. We're also produce the Missouri Cannabis Festival series, and that's at mocanifest.com. That moves around the state. It happens here at Mother Nature's as well. And then there's social media accounts for a lot of that. Just go on Facebook and search Mother Nature's or the Schwag or any of those other entities, and you can find me. And then my personal Facebook page, Jimmy Tebeau. I'm up to about 20,000 followers since we announced that Insane Clown Posse thing. There's mixed reviews in there. I've got some new haters, but I got a ton of new lovers and fans. And then a few of my old lovers are now haters because they're like, just when they found out I got this Insane Clown Posse contract, it's like, oh, he's too popular now. Like, God, I just can't win. But, that's in college. I ran through a leadership thing, and they said the more you're in a leadership role, the position, the more haters you're going to get. You running a business, you probably found that. Disgruntled ex-employees. You fire them because they don't show up on time, and then they're like, don't go there, their barbecue sucks. It's good. You're just a jerk.
Yeah. We don't talk about our haters, but our food speaks for itself, and that's what it's all about. And people that come in, they experience, just like they come here and they get the experience, they end up loving it and end up coming back and being family for life.
That's it. You just be consistent in quality, and if you're doing something right, and you're going to get, no matter how good you do, there's going to be somebody that's like not happy with what you do. But you just got to stay true to your heart, which I think comes back and answers that 10th question.
Full circle.
You got to do what brings you happiness and other people happiness, and if it's working for that sect, you're not going to make everyone happy, and you got to go with what's making you happy or whatever. You know, there's some people that play Worlds of Warcraft in their basement 12 hours a day, and they're on a trust fund, and God bless them, and they're happy, and I wish them the best, you know, and I'm not judging them at all, you know, and if they can get out to a show every now and then or something, good for them. If they, a number of them don't, you know, or whatever. So it's what makes you happy, and it doesn't infringe upon the basic rights of other people. If what makes you happy is hanging out in your backyard naked, make sure you don't have any neighbors. Buy a big place with a big backyard. Don't bitch that the neighbor shouldn't be looking out his window. Well, you know, come on, have some respect.
That's true.
So, you know, I do make this Grateful Dead noise, but I do it out in the woods and do it to where nobody can hear me doing it, unless you want to hear me do it. Then we charge you a few bucks to come. Here's to it, so we can afford to do it. Really, you know, if I won the lottery, I'd make the shows free. I really would. I'd probably feed everyone too. You know, come on out. I'm playing music. It's free.
Yeah, and we would be here for it.
Yeah. I don't want to start paying people, because then I'm like, no, they're not even here. They're here for the money.
Right.
It's like, I'll make it free, but somebody, you know, bring your own food.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an art. I'm addicted, but people keep coming back for it. So.
And we know we are. So thank you, Jimmy.
Well,
this has been this is the Smoke and Slice podcast. You can find us on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, iTunes, everything online, wherever your podcasts are found. And then we'll take and send you this episode, and we can't wait to do more interviews. If you have any other artists that you think would be good for this, I did this a little extended for you because I want to know the history more of Mother Nature's, and but we do this Marceline Mastery, where we get to deep dive into different artists and business, different business professionals, and also craftsmen as well. So if there's anyone that you would suggest, we'd love to interview.
Hey, thanks for having me. Really appreciate what you do.
All right, on Jimmy. Yeah, and thank you so much for everything that you do. And we'll talk to you next time here. We'll see you at the next event. Oh, by the way, is it safe to say if something goes on every weekend here at Mother Nature? Yeah,
all summer long, every weekend. And once we start building stuff, it's going to be every weekend year round.
Oh, man. So we're
working on an indoor pool, indoor hot tub. But, you know, I mean, that's... We have a lot of pipe dreams right now, but you know, we'll see what we can put together. You know, there's some big plans, but yeah, through the summer we're trying to do music every weekend.
Beautiful. So you heard it here first, everybody. That's listening here in podcast land. Drew, that's my buddy from Marceline Pizza Company, that other co-host as well. I'm gonna come by and get that butcher pizza. Come in here, buddy. And we're going to get you out here as well. Everybody come out to Mother Nature's Riverfront Retreat, right? Yeah. And out here near Camdenton, and you will never leave the same. You will leave different than when you came. So once again, this is JB from Smoke and Slice, and we'll see you next time.
Smoke and Slice. Hey. Smoke and Slice. Hey. Smoke and Slice. Hey. Drew brings a slice. Pizza done right. JB brings the smoke, cooking day and night.